The Chiefs just got a wild update on Rashee Rice's suspension, and in this video, I'm going to break down if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But if you guys are new to this channel, my name is Michael Darcy, and you're watching the KC Sports Report. Do me a big time favor and hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more daily Chiefs coverage. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the bombshell tweet from Adam Schefter. ESPN sources, Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is expected to have his disciplinary hearing with the NFL on Tuesday, September 30th in New York. This means that Rice now is likely to be able to play the first 4 weeks of this season before any potential discipline is imposed for his role in the multi-car crash in Dallas during the 2024 offseason. So according to Adam Schefter, Rashee Rice is going to be able to play the first month of the season, and this has a lot of people very upset. And they're not really Chiefs fans, the ones that are upset, but there are some people out there that think that Rashee Rice is once again evading any sort of discipline and that the Chiefs are just getting off scot-free because of the Chiefs. Here's the thing. The Chiefs are in a position where they were expecting a suspension to come at the beginning of the season. And to get this news that, the hearing is going to take place on September 30th, that's within that 90 days of his criminal trial being settled. And so, this is well within the time frame for this to be legit. But I also think that we have to think about this because when I first saw this news that Rashee Rice was going to be able to play the first 4 weeks, which is a very tough stretch for the Chiefs, my first thought is that a good thing for the Chiefs? And I since kind of changed my mind, but my first thought was, Rashee Rice being able to play the first month of the season, it means that he's going to be suspended, from weeks 5 to 9, and they play the Bills, I believe, in week 9, but it's kind of like, why not just get this suspension out of the way early? I don't want this something to drag on because this is definitely something that, could drag on for a long time. And I just wanted to get it done. I wanted Rashee Rice to, do his time, be suspended the first 4 games of the season. And yeah, it would have been brutal because the Chiefs play the Chargers and the Eagles and the Ravens in, those first 4 weeks. But at the same time, having Rashee Rice for those games is going to help the Chiefs. It's definitely an advantage for the Chiefs, but I don't think that the NFL thought of it like, we want this guy to play in the first 4 games. Because even without Rashee Rice, I think the Chiefs could have won those games. It's just going to be a lot more advantageous for the Chiefs offense to have your number 1 wide receiver in arguably the toughest stretch of the season. But I do want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. What do you think of this report from Adam Schefter that Rashee Rice will likely be able to play the first 4 games of the season? I think that it's definitely a good thing for the Chiefs, but my first thought was, I kind of just want to get it out of the way. But it also is kind of concerning because, and I've got no, insider information on this, but it's almost like we've heard from different people that Rashee Rice could be suspended anywhere from, 4 to 8 games. 6 might be that happy medium, but at the same time, I don't want him suspended 6 games in the middle of the season. If you're going to get suspended for 4 to 6 games, get that out of the way first, because then you can kind of move on. But the fact that you're almost going to have a taste of Rashee Rice and then he's going to get suspended, I mean, that's a little bit unfortunate. But at the same time, I think the Chiefs, if you asked anyone in that front office if you could have Rashee Rice for the first 4 games of the season in that tough stretch, they'd probably take it. But I do want to talk more about this because this is a situation that a lot of people are up in arms about, and we'll do that right after this ad break. This video is sponsored by the great people over at DM Injury Law. Injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation, but you gotta act fast. Rely on the experienced personal injury attorneys at DM Law, Kansas City and Missouri's top injury law firm. DM Law is a full-service personal injury practice supported by a large team of investigators, case managers, medical records specialists, and more. And best of all, you don't pay unless they win. DM Law operates on a contingency fee basis, so no fees unless they win your case. And they also provide free consultations. So if you've been injured, don't wait. You can contact DM Law today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you pursue the compensation you deserve. Let them handle the fight while you focus on recovery. Hurt in a car wreck? Call Mike. Remember, Mike's got this. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Thanks to DM Injury Law for sponsoring this video. Huge thanks to the sponsors that have supported this channel all offseason long. Now, getting back into the main portion of this video, there are a lot of fans that are pissed off that the Chiefs are getting away with this. And, there's a lot of people that are pointing towards, the games the Chiefs have in prime time. And my rebuttal to this, that the Chiefs are getting, favoritism from the NFL because, they want Rashee Rice to be there in prime time. The Chiefs play so many primetime games. In fact, most of their games are either on a 3 p.m. time slot, a primetime slot on Monday, Thursday, or Sunday. That, guess what? Rashee Rice is going to be suspended for some primetime games because the Chiefs play in so many primetime games. Like, if he hypothetically gets suspended from weeks 5 to 9, they play teams like the Jaguars, which that game's a primetime game, by the way. They play the Lions. And so to act like he is just going to, play in the hard games and that the Chiefs are going to, not have him when they don't really need him, that's just stupid. That is so false. And it's because the Chiefs play in so many primetime games. But I also think that it's going to be nice to see Rashee Rice for the first month of the season because I have a lot of questions about how this offense is going to function. Now, there's a lot of Chiefs fans out there that believe this offense can get back to the level of the 2022 offense. And I hope that's the case. I mean, Rashee Rice was, fantastic that year. Actually, no, not 2022, but 2023, he was able to kind of take on that role later on in the season, and he was good enough to propel this team to win a Super Bowl. And that's how, good he was that season. And before he got hurt last year, he was on pace for a monster season. And I want to see Rashee Rice continue to take that next step. And from everything that I've heard at training camp, he is looking as good as ever. And that is a scary thing for opposing teams' defenses because now you have someone like Xavier Worthy who had a full season in this offense and another offseason that can stretch the field and allow Rashee Rice to eat underneath. He is going to be a killer in the slot, and I would not be surprised if he just is a yak merchant, like someone that is just getting so many yards after the catch that we're just like, this offense is completely different than what it was last year. And the hope is that the explosiveness that they've lacked for the last 2 years comes back when you finally have wide receiver talent like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy on the football field. And so I'm super excited to see, what those two can do on the field together. And we're going to see it at the beginning of the season. We thought, okay, we're going to have to wait till, week 5, week 6, until we see Rashee Rice in this Chiefs offense. Seems like he's going to be down in Brazil, playing football, which is really exciting. But I do want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. What do you think of Rashee Rice being, I guess not suspended, but Rashee Rice's disciplinary meeting with the NFL is September 30th, and so he will be able to play the first 4 weeks of the season. But what do you guys think his suspension is going to end up being? Because I feel like the more time this goes on, the lesser his suspension is going to be. It's almost like they keep kicking this can down the road that the punishment's going to end up being a lot less severe than we all thought. And, Jordan Addison, the wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, I believe he got suspended for 4 games, but this is a guy that was in, I think, multiple DUIs, and so not the same situation at all. But if you want a reference for what Rice's suspension could look like, maybe look at Jordan Addison's and maybe subtract a game or two. I mean, I'm not really sure, but I do think that it's probably good news for Rashee Rice that this suspension keeps getting kicked down the road because as time goes on, people forget. And that's by no means, diminishing what the victims went through when he was just carelessly stupid in Dallas. But at the same time, he didn't kill anybody. He was stupid. Unfortunately, guys, it's not a crime to be stupid. But I do think that, he is going to serve a suspension. But I think, any likelihood that he gets, 6 to 8 games, I think that's probably out of the question. But I do want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. That's all I've got for this video. We're gonna have another video dropping later tonight on Jawan Taylor. I've got some strong thoughts on him after his preseason opener. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. That's all I've got for this video. Hit that like button and subscribe for more daily Chiefs content. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. And as always, go Chiefs.